All right, what's good? Please like, share, and subscribe. All right, I'm actually about to review Driver Eddie's video, and it says outsmarting the Uber's algorithm to earn money. So some of the things that he is talking about on here, I actually agree with, and I'm gonna go through some of these details right now. One of the things I did like that he brought up is that he's showing that on this particular day, this is New Year's Eve day, and that the fares that everybody's about to see is not a normal day. It's not what they normally would submit to offers. Now the problem is this one. He did mention that he's in Philadelphia and that is his particular market. But so far in the video, I've watched about 10 minutes of it. He didn't bring up that everybody's market is totally different. So the surge bonusing that he was showing in his market was not what we were seeing here in Ohio, not in the Toledo, Ohio area. So again, even though he's getting $10, $20 surges and everything, and on New Year's Eve day, we only seen anywhere between $1 and $3. One thing that I like is that he brought up that this is not a lucrative type of job, which is true, and that's on most days. So around 1 minute and 12 seconds into the video, he's showing where he's just dropping somebody off. Why is the guy getting out of the front seat? No driver should ever, ever, ever allow a passenger to ride up front. You can let them ride up front if your back seat is full, because you got three seatbelts back there, so you let the fourth person sit up front. But you should never be letting anybody sit up front. Number one, it looks like well, I can't really tell where his phone is positioned, but you should always have your phone on the left hand side of you and not in the center console. And the reason for that is because people can snatch your phone when they're getting out. But what he's doing right here, having somebody sit up front with him, this is a horrible practice. Uber doesn't even want passengers sitting up in the front seat because if an accident happens, that airbag can cause severe injuries to the person, or maybe your airbag doesn't even eject and the person gets severe issues. So either way it go, it can cause more damage to anything. The safest place for passengers to be is in the rear. Do not let people sit up front. It's pretty annoying when I get to a passenger for pickup and they try to get in my front seat. And when I say, yeah, you have to get in the back, and then they get in, they say, oh, well, other drivers let me right up front. Number one, I know not every driver does let anybody right up front. Most drivers don't, because you don't know if somebody's going to try to attack you or grab your steering wheel, things like that. So one thing I don't like about the video is him showing the surging. We don't, passengers would think that when they're being overcharged for a ride, that the drivers are being paid for being getting some of that overcharge. We most of the time we don't get paid anything from the passenger being overcharged. Now, some of that overcharge may go towards bonuses a week later, 2 weeks later, even a month later, but oftentimes we do not get anything, at least not that day. And who knows? This week they might get $500 extra off of fares that I obtain this week, and next week they only offer me $100 in bonuses. But again, you get customers that watch videos like this, like he has 11,000 views, and he has over 330,000 people who have subscribed to his channel. So a lot of people that are not drivers will be manipulated into believing that this is hey, sweet, that's an extra 12 or 14 bucks on rides. Oh, these guys are killing it. I know it's not his intentions to make people think that we're getting all of this money all of the time. He clearly has already brought that out in the video, and throughout the video he brings it up a few times. And at this point in the video, he brought up something that was really important, is that after he accepts a ride request, he marks that as his last ride. One of those reasons being is because Uber or Lyft, they will send you a bunch of ride requests. while you're giving a ride or on the way to pick up a person, and it's distracting you as a driver. And sometimes, drivers, they get into an accidents, or there are passengers in the car and they don't like that you're touching your phone constantly, whether to accept or decline ride request. So I definitely completely agree with that. But also, he was saying that the second reason is because um, you can't tell whether you're in a surge area or not, and they may not even give you a surge, or they give you less than what you should be getting. That one right there is speculation. He couldn't prove that. Nobody could actually prove that unless you have two phones in your car with different accounts, and you know what you're actually driving through, and you can compare the difference. However, the reason why I log off after I accept a ride request is because all drivers should be doing that. This means this means and it makes it possible that they may actually start paying drivers more money, because the algorithm will start to notice that they don't have enough drivers to handle the demand that is there. That's why you need to log off. So like I said, the knowing whether you're in a surge area or how much that surge area, for me, I don't care. I log off because I know that all other drivers, if they were doing the same thing, it would surge a lot more often than anything. I mean, fact is, every driver should be logging off and only accept rides if it is surging. Now, I don't think that Uber would care, or Lyft. I don't think that they would care if drivers did that. In fact, they want this information to be out there. They want you to log off so that they can upcharge the passengers. And they're probably looking like, why did this guy accept this ride for $3? Why didn't he decline it? Because legally, they have to price every ride. But in order for them to approve, they have to make sure that they cover their own butt as well. So meaning that if they know that that passenger couldn't find the driver, and now that passenger gets booted out of the queue, and when they go to request a ride again, the price for the ride is a lot higher. Now they can afford to pay the drivers more money. So, like I said, drivers logging off and waiting for bonus areas to pop up, that would be the smart thing. Now, the downfall about it is that when, let's say, all the drivers do log off, the surging area will pop up, and if they show it to all the drivers at the same time, all the drivers are going to log on at the same time. That's going to make the surging area update itself, and it's going to get smaller. So you have the surgeon area here in my market in Toledo. So let's just say you have drivers that are online, and you can see the little dots that I just put up there. Two drivers are online and everything right here. But let's say somebody opens up the app and they see that they're in the middle of this surging area right here. And so now you have a bunch of drivers just decide to log on, and everything. Okay, so it's going to update itself. Even though it may have just updated 30 seconds ago or whatnot, it now is going to update itself again, because all the drivers logged on all at once. So they may show everybody this particular area where the bonuses are popping up, or they may only show certain drivers. But the goal is to make drivers log on. And I know me, for instance, I know that I have to make $2 to $3 more on each ride in order for me to receive a payment that is worthy of me, completing that trip, because we are picking people up for free. So you have to consider that. And this is the part of the video right here where he's showing that he's logging off after he accepts a ride request, and then he'll log back on after he drops off that passenger and everything. But like I said, his reason for doing it, well, part of his reason for doing it, really doesn't make much sense. I mean, I used to say the same thing, but currently, as of right now, it's not about seeing where the bonuses are or how much the bonus is. It's about all drivers needing to log off until they see bonus areas pop up. This will allow us to make more money on rides. And if you're a passenger and you're thinking, oh, that's not fair, it doesn't mean that they're going to upcharge you for rides. It means that they're going to offer more money to incentivize drivers to get online. And keep in mind, you are getting picked up for free, and that is a cost out of the driver's pocket, and they keep most of the fare. So we do these strategies so that we can actually earn a decent income. We probably wouldn't even have to do that if more people actually set a default tip on the app. And you can do that in the Lyft, and you can also do that on the Uber app as well. Keep in mind, the tip that you're adding to the ride, that is to respect the driver for their time picking you up and the miles that they put on the car. So it's not like you going to a restaurant and sitting down. It's not the same thing. But even when you're dealing with a restaurant, this is somebody making less than minimum wage, and hoping that people would tip them. And you could sit there and you could say, well, that's not our job. The restaurant should pay more money. I have videos on that, and that's dumb to say that, because that would mean that the restaurant would have to charge you more money to offset what they're paying waitresses to work there. So again, that just, either way it go, one way you can control it because you can tip, and then the other way you are pretty much being forced to just pay higher prices. And I also wanted to bring up that, even though I'm not trying to put down anything that he's saying or whatnot, where when I was explaining that, oh well, he's saying, log off so you can see where the surgeon area is. No, that's just an incentive. That he's saying that because it's an incentive. I think he is trying to hint off the same thing that I'm saying. You should be logging off to draw up the surge pricing and get bonuses. That's why you should be logging off and everything. He's just bringing it up that you're able to see it and they can't lie to you about it. But that's just the best conscious way of explaining things to people so that it benefits you in the long run and it benefits them in the long run. And he did, right here in this video, this part of the video, he did explain that when one driver declines it, it goes to the next driver, and it's a higher payout. Most of the time, it's just by pennies, and this is true. They did videos before, and little research videos before, showing that different drivers were receiving different payouts. And I don't know, they didn't explain it or whatnot, but honestly, the reason why drivers receive different payouts is because one person is rejecting it. The longer the passenger is waiting, the more it's gonna pay out on the ride. So on the in the passenger, and in the driver's app, they have something called the Waybill. This isn't the driver's app right here. This is the online. But on the driver's app, it says Waybill. Like, after you accept a ride request, when you swipe up, you can see where it says Waybill. Now, when you click on that, it'll take you to the online website. And what it's going to show you is going to show you the exact time that the passenger requested the trip. So what's the point of that? Well, the point is that when you check the Waybill and you notice that the passenger has been waiting 10 or 15 minutes, and when you compare what they're paying you on a ride, that's why they're paying you more than what they usually would pay for the exact same ride. That's because the passenger has been waiting. Drivers have declined the ride request, and so the offer increases. Again, if you want to check it out yourself, when you're online, you just swipe up and you scroll up, and you're going to notice that you see where it says Waybill. You click on it, it's going to open up the online information showing exactly what time the passenger booked the ride. And like I said, if it's been 5-10 minutes, that's why you're seeing a higher payout for that ride. Kind of didn't agree with what he's bringing up about the supply and demand, and why are people paying this much money for rides. Why, that's crazy. And the majority of passengers that are taking rides on New Year's Eve and even on the weekend, these are people who are not using the app that often. They only use it on the nights where they're drinking. So if the fare is 30 bucks on a ride that's going straight down the street, it's only a mile or two. They don't care. The people that have to try to get to work and they're using the service every day, 2 or 3 times a day, those are the people that can't afford to pay the surge pricing. And that's one of the things that he didn't bring up, and maybe he doesn't even understand, is that the main people that usually use the service are people in the urban community. So whenever the people in the suburbs want to take rides, they draw up the price in the urban community and they lower the price in the suburban community. Now, when the suburban community tries to get home, the prices are going to be ridiculously high. That's why picking people up from the bar, it's going to be more profitable. But also, if a passenger uses the address across the street from the bar, their price for their ride is going to be a lot lower. Uber knows that that person has been at the bar for 2 or 3 hours. And so the price of that ride is going to be a lot higher than it was for them to go to the bar. But also, this incentivizes drivers to go through to, deal with passengers who are unseen. They're pretty much they're rude because they're drunk on one of the biggest drinking nights of the year, as well as St. Patrick's Day. So again, this incentivizes drivers to, go and deal with the drama, be out here because the pay is going to be worth it. The last thing you want to do or risk is somebody throwing up in the car, which is probably going to happen on a drinking night. And it doesn't happen that often, but it is possible for it to happen. So of course you'll have less time to make money. I do agree with this part of the video where he's explaining that um, Uber and Lyft, they will pretty much charge the passenger one price and then they'll offer the driver a significantly lower amount. And they have the data. They know how much you would do the ride for. And here's the thing, they will use that data against you. So okay, well, this person usually will accept $4 to drive somebody, 5 miles, regardless of the pickup distance. And that's the part of their algorithm where I think that they fail at. They fail at the fact that, yeah, I may have accepted $5 for a 6 or 7 mile trip before, but that's because the passenger was only a half a mile away. And I've driven further to pick up a passenger to drop them off for that $6 or $7 before. So again, the algorithm, I don't think that they have programmed it properly to where it's reading the drivers at a rate where they know what we're gonna accept, but also the algorithm is screwed up because it's not comparing um, wherein the driver accepted the ride request, whether it was busy out or whether it was slow out, whether the driver just started on the app or they're about to go offline. And so they're accepting something that is heading into a certain area or even just heading into an area, um, whether it be going home or just to, do some driving and picking up passengers. So the algorithm isn't really concerned about that. It doesn't know that I'm trying to. I accepted that ride because I want to be east, and so that I can pick up passengers, or that I want to be west or north or south. It doesn't know this information, and so again, they are not even pricing the ride. Well, not pricing the ride, but showing a payout that I would accept because the terms are different. If the terms are different, when you send the offer to me, I'm like, no, I'm not taking that because I took it before, but that was because the terms were different. Now the terms are a different way now, and so now I'm not gonna accept it. So again, their algorithm isn't reading it that way. It's reading it a whole different way. But again, they're trying to keep as much money as they possibly can from the fare. And if they were pricing a ride where what the driver would expect, then it would work out. This is my chart for 36 cents per minute. And, so I expect to get this based off of this chart. Now, just so you know, I'm not going to do a 49-minute trip at $17.64. I'm breaking it down based off of 36 cents per minute. So I have different charts that I use at different times of the day, and I'm only going to accept rides based off of that chart that I'm going to be using around that time. And my chart pretty much breaks down my hourly goal, $21.60. It's 259, gas 40, 219 times 7, 1,533 at the gas, and so forth. It's all broken down on different charts. Oh, sorry. I paused for a minute, but yeah, here you see a 45 cents, 38 cent, 36 cent, and you have a 46 cent chart here. I do apologize about that. I thought I paused it so I could pull up the different charts or whatnot. So I do recommend that any and every driver do create a chart and accept rides based off of that. What I did notice in my market in the Toledo, Ohio, on average, drivers are making around about 25 cents per minute. So times 60 minutes, that's actually about $15. Exactly, $15 on an hourly basis. If it's busy or drivers have rejected rides, I'm going to see offers that are for more. But most of the time, I'm not going to get the 38 cent unless I'm actually in a bonus area. The 38 cent to 45 cent, I usually have to be in a bonus area in order for me to um, get that bonus. Well, in order for me to make enough money to even do a trip. And so for me, and as well as for other drivers, that makes it complicated because if you're dedicated to being online for 12 hours, you're probably only going to have about 6 or 5 hours where you're going to actually make the money that you really want to make. And this is why it's imperative that if you are doing this full time, that you do make sure that you are driving during the bonus hours. And if you know your market, I would say study the map and try to stay in the bonus area. So all your rides, you can get a bonus on the rides. So, you trying to drop off people when, if you know the bonus areas usually is around this area, why would you be dropping somebody off all over here? It's not going to be any money. So you're going to be accepting trips that doesn't pay out enough. And furthermore, if the trips are actually taking you, you know, west, you want to take the trip going back east in order to make decent money. But again, if demand is always slow over here, you're going to be wasting time trying to find a rider that's going to take you back east. They may take you back east, but you make it this far. And so now you find yourself driving the rest of the distance back over to the bonus area. But and at the same time, it doesn't, trying to stay up in this area, it's not going to be a lot of longer distance trips. I would have to take trips that are going to be, 2 or 3 miles. And then when I go back online, I can only take a trip that's going back east. So if I took one going west, I have to take one going back east so I can try to stay in the bonus area as much as possible. So you also have to realize that you can make up your own assumptions if you want to. But for the most part, I believe that Lyft doesn't want you taking rides in areas where they can't make any money off of you. This is obviously the area where they can make the most money off of me. Once I take a ride over here, going west, it's going to slow down. They're going to make less money off of me. They need me to be over here on the east, but they can't help the fact that they have riders that will go west, riders that will go south or too far north. They can't help that. They can only hope that you, as a driver, are smart enough to know where to actually drive at. So we can always count or count on them to not send you ride requests that you want, or for you to think that, okay, well, they're trying to screw me and everything like that. I think that sometimes they're really not trying to screw drivers, but in just looking at the price that they're charging passengers, like in my market, sometimes they'll charge the passenger to go all the way up to the airport in Michigan, which is in Romulus, Michigan. A lot of times they will charge the passenger. I think Romulus, Michigan is like, I think somewhere up in here or whatever. But they'll charge a passenger from Toledo all the way up here. And I've seen rates going to the airport as low as 38 or 40 something dollars. And in my market, they're trying to pay drivers 18. But it goes up. And so eventually it will go up to 30 something or 40 something dollars. But the thing is, the passenger is waiting. They're waiting. Now, if a driver accepts it too early on, that actually pisses Lyft off. It pisses Lyft off because they want the passenger to wait so they can bump them out the queue. When they bump them out the queue, now the passenger goes to request a ride again and it's more expensive. So at least they can get more money off of it. But for them to just throw out a 80 or $120 offer as soon as you go on there to try to book the ride, they know you're not going to pay for it. You're only going to pay for it if you have to wait. And you're going to try to secure a driver the closer it gets for the time for you to have to take your flight. Last but not least, I just wanted to bring out this. I was reading one of the comments. It says, gotta love it when you have to cheat the system to be able to actually earn enough to survive. What a world we live in. What do you mean you have to cheat the system? He's not cheating the system just because and he has to be referring to the fact that he says that you need to log off and everything, but there's no system that this driver is cheating to earn a living. Like, the comment doesn't make any sense. And I guess I wanted to bring it up because there's 103 people that read the comment and decided to thumbs up it. Like, that comment doesn't make any sense. It's not cheating the system to log off and to wait until you see bonus areas or to view the surge pricing. Like, that comment just really didn't make any sense. Then there's another comment that is right here, and it says, if every driver stayed offline while on trips, uh, it drives search upwards because the algorithm thinks we're all on our last trip. No, it doesn't think that we're on our last trip. The algorithm is simply saying that demand is higher than the number of drivers that we have. It's not about you being on your last trip because they don't know if you're going to be online or offline. And in fact is that they know that Monday you usually drive 6 hours. They know that on Wednesday you usually drive 12 hours. So they know when you're going to really be online. But at the same time, the surge is going up, and this is what they actually want. I think a lot of people are just confused to where they're thinking that this is not what Lyft and Uber wants when it is what Uber and Lyft wants because they can charge passengers more money. You're giving them the reason to charge more money. You just have to be smart to not just accept those trips when they first come in. Okay? When they first come to you, you can't accept them. If you accept them, you're going to be lowballed. However, Lyft and Uber are going to pay you some of that upcharge. It's just not going to be today. It may be a week from now. It may be 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, or a month from now. But outside of that, nope. No. With that, I'll go down and look at another comment. All right, this one says, enable Uber Pet and disable regular rides while driving to surges. Just get rid of the request while en route to the good surge. I'm not too sure about that one because I don't turn on the pets. Gotta love this comment right here. As a potential Uber driver, oh, where did it go? There it is. As a potential Uber driver, I have made a ton of money not driving for Uber. That is the key. All right, please like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate it.